Hey everyone, this is Pseudo, back to play the Stanley Parable again. I noticed the last videos were all buried in time, so I'm going to try and use my phone to keep track of the time to keep it around 10 minutes. So let's see what happened now that I quote-unquote beaten the game and am happy. Well, now there's papers all over the floor.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Yep, well, there's memos all over the floor. I'm sure I could just read one of those. Only the text wasn't so small. Hey, there's newspaper under that one. That's new. Wow, this is a mess. Where are our custodians? Didn't we teach people not to litter? Although I do like how it's strewn about. It's actually more concentrated on the edges. Realistic. I like it. Time is it? I can't read it. Is there another clock? Let me know if we see a clock.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Yeah, we're gonna go on the left again, see if we can come up with a new ending. Back through here, nothing new. White light of nothingness. Although we now know that there is something out there because we got there. But let's see what happens now.
There was not a single person here either.
Tips for not getting fired. Talk less.
Stanley
that would make this video pretty boring, don't you think?
Hoping he might find an answer there.
How to solve a dispute with a coworker. Let it ball up inside you. Take it out passive-aggressively on the coworker. I don't know the third step. I'll never be able to resolve my problems with Tina. Tina. Back to here.
Coming to a staircase,
down.
Stanley
We went up last time.
to his boss's office.
New endings. Must know. Another red light. Yet no caution. Ooh, a letter. E? There's gotta be another button to interact with it somehow. Every button I'm pressing does nothing. Oh well. We'll just go this way. Although we now know there's a fire hose here, which is important if I set fire to it. Why are all these people leaving their lights on?
He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that.
That's
and
very
in such
true.
a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy.
Probably.
All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all.
Wouldn't make any sense.
None of it made any logical sense.
None. Well,
and
door
as
closed to me
Stanley
again.
pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down?
See, I said that in
Why
the
did
first
doors
video.
close automatically behind him wherever he
Exactly.
went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real.
Wait.
And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! This is all a dream.
The old "it's all a dream" solution to the problem.
Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation.
Then I should be able to
His
skip the drink.
co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all.
I need my job.
He thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon.
Yeah, probably.
Go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid.
That's my plan.
He imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground.
No, get through the door.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical
back
starfield.
in here again.
And it too appeared. It was so much fun. And Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining
Stars
so
are moving
lucid?
pretty fast. Ooh.
And then perhaps the strangest question of them all
Stars are gone.
entered Stanley's head.
I wasn't done.
One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Mind control.
The voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange.
This is
I'm dreaming
my psychologist
about
gonna have a field day.
describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts. He
Ah!
thought. And while he thought it all very odd, and
What do I do?
wondered if this
Back
voice
that way.
spoke to all people in their dreams,
Nope.
the truth was that,
Run
of
laps.
course, this was not a dream.
Keep running
How
laps.
could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself?
Probably.
Believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley.
I would say so.
After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did
That's
the
what we
voice not
concluded,
seem
yeah.
flow to make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control.
That was a change of tone.
That this was
Did I
a
run
dream.
enough laps?
So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
I don't want. No.
He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin.
I don't like
The press
this.
of the mattress on his back. The fresh air of a world outside this one.
What if people are sneaking up on me?
Let me
Back
wake
against the
up,
wall.
he thought to himself.
Do it.
I'm through
Sword
with
out.
this dream.
Don't have a sword.
I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons.
I feel like I'm being
Please.
hypnotized.
It's all I want. I want my apartment.
Yeah.
And my wife.
Yeah, no, I'm being
And my
hypnotized.
job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal.
Totally normal.
Everything
Talk
will
to
be
yourself.
fine. I am okay.
Totally okay. Everything's fine. Back where I still was. Nothing changed. Well,
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must
it's like
be.
I'm being
Can
shot
anyone
in an
hear my
FPS.
voice? Who am I? Who am
Blood
I?
pouring out of my eyes. It's
And
getting really red.
everything went black.
Why does everything keep going black in this game?
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What? What woman? This was about Stanley.
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work.
What?
But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk.
I
And
died?
although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance,
Oh.
for just a few brief moments, she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy.
This
This
game
much
is a
she
roller
knew.
coaster of emotions.
Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am
Oh,
in
he's gonna
control
infect
of my
her,
mind.
and then she's gonna kill
I
herself.
know what is real and what isn't.
This is awful.
It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better.
Thanks.
Then she remembered the meeting she had
Yeah.
scheduled for that
Laying
day.
dead on the ground.
Very important
because of this
people
crazy
whose
British man.
impressions of her would affect her career,
Oh.
and by extension,
Should have just
the
kept
rest
pushing the
of her
buttons.
life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring.
She
down
thought
at the
about
body,
a lot in that one moment.
and then she turned and ran.
Wow. So I died after I won like 3 times. So I'm gonna give that a pretty positive result so far. But it looks like we're restarting again, so I'm gonna call it for the day, and I will see you all in the next one.